I'd heard about this place from a friend. She's the best hairdresser around, she said. But there are no mirrors. I thought it was a weird thing to say, but I didn't think much of it. I just wanted my hair done. So I booked an appointment and went. The salon was in a quiet corner of town. Kind of hidden. When I walked in, it was dim inside, even with the lights on. There were chairs, sinks, all the usual stuff. But, like she'd said, there wasn't a single mirror. The woman who ran the place was old, with hair wrapped up in a scarf and long fingers with rings on every one. She looked at me, nodded, and pointed to a chair. Her movements were quiet, but her eyes, they were sharp, like she was watching every single thing I did. I sat down, and she started washing my hair, her fingers moving so fast it almost felt like she had more than 10. She was quiet, didn't ask me what I wanted, didn't make any small talk. I tried to start a conversation, but she just shushed me, one finger pressed against her lips. I thought it was strange, but I didn't push it. As she worked, I kept glancing around. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching us, but the shop was empty except for the two of us. Then, when she started combing out my hair, I caught a glimpse of something in the window, a flash of my own face, but different. My expression didn't match what I was feeling. I was smiling in the reflection, but I wasn't smiling. Not at all. I blinked, looked back at the window, but it was gone. Just my imagination, I thought. I was probably just nervous from the whole no mirror thing. Then I started hearing whispers. They were low, like someone whispering right in my ear, but when I turned, no one was there. I told myself it was just her rings clinking together or maybe the old pipes in the building. I kept looking over at the window, hoping to catch my reflection again, to check if I was just imagining things. But every time I looked, it was gone. Finally, she was done. She handed me a small handheld mirror, the only one in the whole place, so I could look at the back of my hair. I glanced at it quickly, gave her a nod, and tried to get up, but she held my shoulder, her fingers like iron. She pointed at the mirror in my hand and said, "Look, really look." So I did. In the reflection, I saw myself, but it wasn't just me. Behind me, in the mirror, there were dozens of faces, all staring, all smiling these wide, eerie smiles. Their eyes looked hollow, like they hadn't blinked in years. I dropped the mirror in shock, and when I looked around, there was no one else in the room, just me and her. I was shaking. I backed up, nearly tripping over the chair, and she just watched me, those sharp eyes following every move I made. I stammered something about needing to go, not even bothering to pay, and stumbled out of the shop as fast as I could. Later, I asked my friend about it, about those faces, about the whispers. She went quiet and said, "That's why there are no mirrors in her salon. Those faces, they're the ones who looked too long." I never went back, and every now and then, I catch glimpses in mirrors at home, a face that isn't mine, just for a split second, smiling that same empty smile. A few days after the salon visit, I couldn't shake that image from my head. The faces, those eerie, smiling faces, I'd see them in my dreams, popping up suddenly, their hollow eyes staring right at me. Every time I walked past a mirror, I felt off. I'd catch something in my reflection, like a shadow just outside the frame, but whenever I looked again, it was gone. It started getting worse. At home, mirrors seemed to have a mind of their own. One night, I walked past the hallway mirror, and for a split second, I saw my own reflection standing still, staring at me while I moved past it. I thought I was losing my mind. I stood there, watching my own face, seeing if it'd move or smile again, but it just stared back, as normal as could be. I told myself it was nothing, maybe stress, but I started avoiding mirrors after that. Brushed my teeth with my head down, changed without looking at the closet mirror, but it didn't help. Even in glass windows, car mirrors, I'd see flashes of something just behind me. That same weird smile, like someone was always there, right over my shoulder, waiting for me to notice. One night, it got too much. I decided to go back to the salon. I was scared, but I felt like I had to ask her what was happening. She was the only person who might know what was going on. I got there after dark. The lights in the shop were dim, and the place looked closed, but I tried the door anyway. It opened. She was sitting there in the back, like she was expecting me. Before I could say anything, she raised a hand and motioned for me to sit down. I was too scared to refuse, so I sat. She didn't say a word, just put her hands on my shoulders and started combing my hair again. I wanted to ask her, wanted to tell her what I'd been seeing, but my mouth felt dry, my throat tight. It was like I couldn't speak. As she combed, I felt something cold on my scalp, like the touch of icy fingers. I flinched, but she kept going. Then she said, almost in a whisper, "You looked too long. You shouldn't have looked." What does that mean?" I managed to ask. She didn't answer. Instead, she handed me that same small handheld mirror. "They see you now," she said. "They know you." I didn't want to look, but it was like my hands moved on their own. I stared into the mirror, expecting to see those faces, those smiles. But this time, it was worse. I saw myself. Just me. But my face, it was changing. My mouth stretched into a wide, unnatural grin, my eyes going blank and dark. I tried to move, but my reflection stayed perfectly still, smiling that awful smile. I could see it staring right into me, almost like it was waiting to get out. I dropped the mirror, and it shattered on the floor. I heard her voice, cold and calm, behind me. "Now, they're a part of you. Every mirror, every reflection, they'll be there." I ran out of the salon, not caring about the broken mirror or the woman's strange words. I just wanted to get away. But when I got home, it was like she said. In every mirror, I saw it, my reflection, smiling, watching me with those hollow eyes. Now, I keep all the mirrors covered, every single one. But sometimes, I still hear whispering from underneath the sheets I draped over them. They are waiting, watching, and I can feel it, just on the other side, waiting for the moment when I let my guard down. It's been weeks now, and things keep getting worse. Covering the mirrors doesn't help. At night, I hear whispering coming from behind the sheets, faint and soft, like someone calling my name over and over. Sometimes, it sounds like laughter, that low, chilling laughter. I try to ignore it, but every night, it gets louder, and I've started seeing things, reflections in places they shouldn't be. I'll walk by a dark TV screen, and there it is, my own face, staring back, that wide smile stretched too far. I'll catch my reflection in windows, even in the polished metal of a spoon, and every time, it's the same. My reflection isn't me. It watches me, waiting, that grin plastered on its face. Then, the other night, something happened that nearly made me leave my own house. I was getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth in the bathroom with the mirror covered up, but as I brushed, I heard the sound of glass, fingernails scraping against it, faint and insistent, coming from behind the covered mirror. I froze, too scared to look. I thought maybe it was my imagination, so I tried to ignore it, but the scraping got louder, more desperate, like something was trying to claw its way out. I backed out of the bathroom, heart pounding, and slammed the door shut. I slept with the lights on that night, but I didn't really sleep. I kept hearing the faint scratching, even through the closed door. The next morning, I decided to try and do some research. I looked up the salon, but there was nothing on it. No phone number, no website, no reviews, nothing. I texted my friend, the one who had recommended it, but she didn't respond. It was like the place didn't exist. I went back to the street where the salon was, trying to see if it was open, hoping to talk to the old woman again. But when I got there, the place was gone. The shop was completely empty, abandoned. Dust covered the floor, and there were no chairs, no lights. A person visits a mysterious hair salon where mirrors are forbidden. During the appointment, the hairdresser insists the client look into a small mirror. When they do, they see eerie faces smiling back, and a feeling of dread sets in. Soon after, strange things start happening. Reflections in mirrors and even dark screens don't match their movements, showing their own face smiling unsettlingly. Desperate for answers, they return to the salon, only to find it abandoned, as if it never existed. Haunted by their reflection appearing in unexpected places and grinning back, they realize their reflection wants to replace them, drawing closer every time they look. Now, they are trapped, avoiding mirrors at all costs, and warn others, never look too long into a mirror, or they might come for you too.